Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, I still have about 4.5 hours to go almost till I go head for work. But I thought I'd talk about something real quickly here. In fact, it's also sort of a fan recommendation as well. And that is if you've not heard of Conspiracy Pwn 3, Conspiracy Pwn 3, then I suggest you check them out. Yeah, it's like conspiracy, but it's Conspiracy Pwn 3. And if you need any more kind of information, just YouTube or Google My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, Conspiracies or Theories or something like that. And you should come up with Conspiracy Pwn 3 right off the bat, hopefully. But if not, I'll provide a link down below. And this just furthers my appreciation in a sense, and kind of has me tilting towards probably going brony a little bit, but still on that tightrope, on that edge, trying to just stay in the middle, but be a fan out of appreciation. And things like this are why I become a fan, because you have other people basically going out of the way to make YouTube channels, additional YouTube channels, Daily Motion channels, Facebook groups, whatever, to talk about a lot of things that normally don't really get talked about that much. I just watched one of Conspiracy Pwn 3's videos asking whether or not Equestria is a post-apocalyptic world. Now, we all know that through science and research, biblically, biblical or religious and stuff like that, or scientific, or whatever whatever you believe and take seriously. I go the biblical route, if you catch my drift. But everybody always has these theories. These are scientific, biblical, religious, what have you, of how the world's going to change, how it's going to end. Now, from a biblical standpoint, it's the rapture. We know that's going to happen. From a biblical standpoint, the rapture is going to happen. You're going to have the 7 years of the 7 years of tribunal or something like that. I can't think of the name. I do apologize, God. You're going to have this 7 years of tribunal, and then it's all going to come to an end when the Lord Jesus Christ comes down, and as they said, with one word, ends it all. And basically things go, I guess, back, but and then things, I guess, go back to the way they were supposed to be. Hear me out. You see, once we did a Bible study that they're currently redoing right now, and I think I'm going to wrap up this Friday. They did a Bible study, basically, and it was about, heaven and the end. It was basically what they're doing right now, and some of the questions we were talked about and we went over the first time I went to it along with my mom was, what do we think is going to happen after it's all said and done? After the rapture is done, the tribunal is done, Jesus has basically spoken that word and ended it all, and what have you. What's going to happen? Now, one of the things I came up with, I suggested, my thought was, time could restart. For a lot of us, time can restart. We don't know exactly how or when it's going to restart for us, but it feels like it could restart. So let's say after the rapture, the 7 years, and things after 7 years, and Jesus speaks, and Jesus says the one word that basically ends it all. Who's to say that we won't restart? Maybe at the age of let's say, for example, my age would be, I would guess, 5-6 years old. Who's to say it won't start at age 5-6 years old? But even though things might be different, maybe you might have a remembrance of the old world or something, but you'll notice there's a bit of a change, that things are different. Then instead of maybe being rebellious or being like this and that, you go a different route. Like, for example, if my mom said that there was this one house we lived in Fremont that was going to be where she was going to live for the rest of her life. Who's to say that won't be the way it is? Who's to say that when it's all said and done and the world is changed and reborn, that for a lot of us, when we get our restart, that we won't be plopped right where we were supposed to be from the beginning. Like maybe me and my family, me and my sisters, my mom and dad are plopped right where basically could have been our permanent home in Fremont. Who's to say that won't be the case? And again, a lot of people have theories of how this is all going to happen, of how things will change, what have you. The one thing, though, about Conspiracy Poem when he did this was he talked about what could be. And I give this guy credit, and I give any fans credit for doing this, because My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is not the only show that does this, whose fan base does this. Sonic the Hedgehog, Sat AM has done this. Adventure Time, Steven Universe, Transformers, G.I. Joe. You name it, they've done it. You name a popular franchise, gem, what have you, they have done it, in a sense. And what he did here when he talked about this was he basically, I guess, theorized, why certain elements, why certain things like human tools and stuff that normally humans would use in everything we're around. Why this happened, why that happened, why this and that, and could this be the reason? He even tied in, because I guess it's part of continuity in a sense, tied in the Equestria Girl movies. He did. He tied in the Equestria Girl movies, or at least the first one. And basically, he tied it in because the one question that no fan ever asked about that movie, whether you look at it as canon or non-canon or whatever, if you look at it from a continuity standpoint, I'm guessing, is why does Celestria have a mirror that leads into an Equestria version into a human world version of Equestria? And basically, long story short, he looks at, in his own theorizing, if you will, he looks at the fact that it's not a portal to an alternate dimension or an alternate reality where in this case the main six are not ponies but they're human teenagers or teenage humans. But instead, it leads into Equestria's past, basically into the world, our world, if you will. And that basically it's a time portal. But then this is where he brings in Sunset Shimmer. He wonders, well, wait a minute. Sunset Shimmer used to be a pony. She's now there in the past. She's basically the Twilight to the human main six, what have you. Basically, you have to watch the video. I'll provide a link down below so you can check it. But basically, he looks at the fact that how does Celestia know about this? Unless her mentor, I guess Star Swirl, allowed her to cross over. Because it seems, in a sense, maybe it's just me because I've never watched the movies, but it seems to me, in a sense, just by the picture that was taken, or the screenshot he used in this video, is like the human Celestria kind of knew. Maybe it's just me, but it seems that the human Celestia kind of knew who Twilight really was. Or that Twilight wasn't the Twilight they had known in their world. Again, that's just basically going off what he's shown, but he did bring up a good point. It's like, how does Celestia know all this? Unless she's already been there. Why did it take so long for the elements of harmony, to come back into play to not only stop Luna when she was Nightmare Moon, but bring her back to being Luna? What took so long? And, to me, he does such a great job with these conspiracies. And I'm sure there's a lot more going out there. There is. There's a lot more to think of. But to me, I do recommend checking this guy out if you're a fan, either out of respect and appreciation, or you're full-fledged Bronian fan. I would suggest checking him out. And definitely checking out this video because it does make you think. Makes you think. And again, this goes back to what I said earlier. This shows you how much it shows you how you could become a fan out of appreciation and respect because of the fact that you have people willing to dedicate 14, 15-minute videos, maybe 20-minute videos to thinking and theorizing, what could be, what's this, what's that. So to me, definitely check out the video, but definitely check out Conspiracy Pone 3 if you've not heard of him yet. He does bring up some good theories about certain, theories and conspiracies, like like the Queen of the Changelings, like who was she before and stuff like that. So it's really interesting and really intriguing to watch, and all I could say is check it out. It makes you think, even if you're just a fan out of appreciation and respect and nostalgia. It makes you think. It really does. And if he's watching, I do have one suggestion for a future conspiracy theory video. I do have one. And I don't know if he'll like it or not, but my suggestion in closing is this. If there is a rumor that, according to Lawrence Faust and all them, that Twilight is supposed to surpass Celestia, basically take her place, what happens to Celestia? What happens to her in the long run? What happens to her, maybe even Luna? But what happens to Celestia when someone like Twilight is passed the torch to take her place? Basically extends to the position that she's at. What happens to her? Does she join Star Swirl the Beard? What happens to her? Does she ascend to a higher plane? I would suggest doing that for the next conspiracy theory video. But that's all I'm going to say, folks. Again, I'll provide the link to his channel and to the video. Check it out. I think you'll get a kick out of it. And I am out.